Practice makes perfect, the saying goes. We've all heard it, maybe even believed it. There's a certain appeal to the idea of flawlessness, of achieving a state where everything aligns just so. We see it in the perfectly curated Instagram feeds, the flawless complexions in magazine ads, the seemingly effortless success stories. We start to buy into the idea that perfection is attainable, desirable, even essential. But what happens when this pursuit of perfection becomes all-consuming? When the desire to be flawless starts to warp our perceptions of ourselves and others, this is where the line between healthy striving and unhealthy obsession begins to blur, and the seductive trap of narcissism awaits. Narcissism. The word itself conjures up images of vanity and self-absorption, but at its core, narcissism is more than just being in love with one's reflection. It's a deep-seated need for admiration, a constant hunger for validation from the outside world. Narcissists crave attention, praise, and a sense of superiority. They need to be seen as special, unique, above everyone else. This need stems from a place of insecurity, a fragile sense of self-worth that requires constant bolstering from external sources. The narcissist's ego becomes a delicate balloon, easily deflated by criticism or indifference. The pursuit of perfection is often seen as a noble endeavor. We strive to be the best versions of ourselves, to achieve excellence in every aspect of our lives. However, this relentless quest can sometimes lead to the development of narcissistic traits. Perfectionism and narcissism can often go hand in hand, creating a complex interplay between self-improvement and self-obsession. When we become fixated on being flawless, we may start to measure our worth solely by our achievements and external validation. This obsession with achieving an idealized version of ourselves can lead to a distorted self-image. We risk losing sight of who we truly are, becoming more concerned with how we appear to others than with our authentic selves. We start to view ourselves and others through a distorted lens, one that magnifies flaws and minimizes genuine qualities. This skewed perception can lead to an unhealthy focus on imperfections, both in ourselves and in those around us. Perfectionism in its extreme form can fuel narcissistic tendencies by creating an insatiable need for validation and approval. This constant craving for external affirmation can become a driving force, overshadowing genuine self-worth and contentment. The constant striving for an unattainable ideal can lead to a sense of inadequacy, as we compare ourselves unfavorably to an impossible standard. In response, the narcissist may attempt to mask these feelings of inadequacy with a grandiose facade of superiority and confidence. The irony is that in their relentless pursuit of perfection, narcissists often end up pushing away the very people whose admiration they so desperately crave. Their need for constant validation can strain relationships, leading to conflicts and isolation. Ultimately, the pursuit of an unattainable ideal can leave them feeling more isolated and unfulfilled, longing for genuine connection and acceptance. Narcissism doesn't exist in a vacuum. It seeps into every corner of a relationship, affecting not just the narcissist but everyone around them. The very nature of narcissism means that it thrives on the attention and validation from others, often at a significant emotional cost. It impacts relationships, leaving a trail of emotional casualties in its wake. Partners, friends, and family members often find themselves caught in a web of manipulation and emotional turmoil, struggling to maintain their own sense of self-worth. Living with or loving a narcissist can be incredibly challenging. The constant need to cater to the narcissist's demands and the lack of genuine emotional reciprocity can be exhausting. Over time, this can erode the emotional and mental well-being of those involved. Their need for admiration often comes at the expense of others' feelings and needs. This relentless pursuit of validation can lead to a toxic environment where the narcissist's desires overshadow the legitimate needs of others. They may belittle, manipulate, or exploit those around them to maintain their inflated sense of self. This behavior can create a cycle of abuse, where the narcissist's actions are justified in their mind, leaving others feeling powerless and trapped. Friends and family members often find themselves walking on eggshells, afraid to criticize or challenge the narcissist for fear of backlash or emotional outbursts. This constant state of anxiety can lead to long-term emotional scars and a pervasive sense of insecurity. The narcissist's inability to empathize or acknowledge the perspectives of others creates an imbalance in relationships, leaving loved ones feeling drained and emotionally depleted. This lack of empathy can make it difficult for those around the narcissist to feel truly understood or valued. The impact of narcissistic behavior can be particularly devastating for children who may grow up feeling invisible, unworthy, or responsible for the narcissist's happiness. These children often carry these wounds into adulthood, affecting their future relationships and self-esteem. Section 5. Inside the Bubble. The fragile psyche of a narcissist. Behind the mask of grandiosity and self-importance lies a fragile ego, easily threatened by criticism or perceived slights. Narcissists often struggle with deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. Their inflated sense of self-worth is a defense mechanism, a way to protect themselves from the pain of feeling flawed or unworthy. This underlying vulnerability is often masked by a need to control, dominate, or devalue others. They may lash out defensively at any perceived threat to their carefully constructed image of perfection. Understanding the psychological underpinnings of narcissism is crucial for developing compassion, both for those who exhibit these traits and for those who are impacted by them. Section 6. A house of cards. When the facade crumbles. The narcissist's carefully constructed world can crumble when their need for admiration is not met. Criticism, failure, or rejection can trigger intense feelings of shame, rage, or depression. Their inability to cope with these emotions in a healthy way can lead to self-destructive behaviors, substance abuse, or even suicidal thoughts. The higher they build their tower of self-importance, the further they have to fall. This is often when the true cost of their narcissistic defenses becomes apparent, not just to those around them, but to the narcissists themselves. Section 7. The high cost of illusion. Narcissism's impact on well-being. The relentless pursuit of an idealized self comes at a high cost. Narcissists may achieve outward success, but they often struggle with genuine happiness and fulfillment. Their relationships are often superficial and transactional, lacking the depth and authenticity that come from genuine connection. The constant need for validation can be exhausting, leaving them feeling empty and unfulfilled despite their achievements. Over time, the charade of perfection takes its toll, leading to feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and depression. The irony is that in their quest for an idealized self, narcissists often end up alienating the very people who could offer them genuine love and acceptance. Section 8. Redefining excellence, striving for healthy growth. The pursuit of excellence in and of itself is not inherently negative. It's what drives innovation, creativity, and personal growth. The key lies in distinguishing between healthy striving and the unhealthy obsession that fuels narcissism. True excellence comes from a place of self-awareness, humility, and a genuine desire to improve ourselves and the world around us. It's about embracing our imperfections while striving to be the best versions of ourselves. This involves setting realistic goals, acknowledging our limitations, and celebrating our progress along the way. It also means learning to value effort over outcome, recognizing that true growth lies in the journey, not just the destination. Section 9. Beyond the mirror, cultivating compassion and authenticity. The antidote to narcissism lies in cultivating compassion, both for ourselves and for others. Compassion is not just a feeling, but a practice, a way of being that requires conscious effort and intention. It means being present for others, listening without judgment, and offering support without expecting anything in return. This involves shifting our focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. Instead of seeking approval from others, we learn to find contentment within ourselves. Practices like meditation and journaling and spending time alone can help us connect with our inner selves and understand our true needs and desires. It's about recognizing our shared humanity, embracing our imperfections, and connecting with others on a deeper level. When we see ourselves in others, we realize that we are not alone in our struggles and joys. This sense of connection fosters empathy and strengthens our relationships. Authenticity, not perfection, is the key to true happiness and meaningful relationships. Being authentic means being true to ourselves, expressing our genuine thoughts and feelings, and not hiding behind a facade. It allows us to build trust and intimacy with others. When we can accept ourselves for who we are, flaws and all, we open ourselves up to the possibility of genuine connection and lasting fulfillment. Self-acceptance is a powerful act of self-love that frees us from the need for constant approval and allows us to live more authentically. The journey beyond the mirror, beyond the need for constant admiration, is a journey towards self-discovery, compassion, and the freedom to live a more authentic life. It is a path that requires courage and vulnerability, but the rewards are immense. It's a journey worth taking for ourselves and for the world around us. By cultivating compassion and authenticity, we not only transform our own lives, but also contribute to a more compassionate and authentic world.